What if I told you the most hated man in hip-hop leaned over a hospital bed and whispered 4 words that could flip his entire life upside down? Yeah, you heard that right. Tekashi 6ix9ine, rainbow hair troll, courtroom snitch, walking meme, might have just delivered the creepiest hospital confession in rap history. And let's be clear, this wasn't some TikTok prank gone wrong or a Kardashian-style reality stunt.
No.
This was the kind of whisper that makes you rewind the footage 10 times, pause it, zoom in, and still wonder, wait, did he really just say that? Think about it. This is 6ix9ine we're talking about. The same guy who turned federal testimony into a Netflix binge. The same guy who threw his own crew under the bus while wearing a bubblegum hoodie. Now suddenly, he's in a hospital room, cameras rolling, fans watching, and out slips a phrase so chilling it's got Reddit threads on fire at 3 a.m. Here's your headline: Hospital footage of Tekashi's whisper sparks murder conspiracy. And the person he whispered it to? Let's just say they didn't walk out alive. Brace yourselves, because this circus just turned into a crime scene. So let's pull the curtain back, because this isn't just another headline about Tekashi 6ix9ine problems, and all of them are court dates Hernandez. No, this is a scandal stitched together from every Netflix crime doc you've ever binged at 2 a.m. Only difference? This time, the cameras weren't staged. The hospital room footage is real. The whisper is real. And the fallout? Oh, it's uglier than his rainbow grill. But before we dissect the whisper itself, let's rewind. Who exactly are we dealing with here? Tekashi 6ix9ine. The man, the meme, the circus act wrapped in a body covered with 69 tattoos like a toddler discovered permanent markers. His entire career is built on controversy, like a Jenga tower made of scandals that somehow refuses to collapse. Remember 2017? The year Gummo turned him from that dude with Skittles hair into hip-hop's most chaotic export. Along with fame came dirt, gang ties, courtrooms, leaked photos, more beefs than Burger King's freezer. And front and center of all that chaos?
Trippie read.
Their beef wasn't just lyrical. It was betrayal, humiliation, and street-level politics colliding. Trippie accused Tekashi of being a predator. Tekashi clowned Trippie's music and love life. Social media turned it into a gladiator arena. Diss tracks dropped. IG lives exploded with insults. Until finally, November 2017, a New York hotel lobby. Anthony Harvelison, Tekashi's 9-tray muscle, punched Trippie in the face.
Blood.
Live stream. Viral. Tekashi didn't just win the night. He cemented his status as hip-hop's #1 troll. But here's the thing about beef. It doesn't die. It doesn't fade away. It festers. And sometimes, it whispers. Fast forward to the hospital footage. Tekashi leans in, eyes darting, like he's about to spill government secrets, and mutters 4 words that sent the internet into a frenzy. 4 words that lit up Reddit threads, Twitter feeds, and every messy group chat you're secretly in. Fans swear he said, "It should have been him." Him, as in
Trippie.
And boom. Suddenly Ariela's murder wasn't random. It wasn't tragic coincidence. It looked like a bullet meant for someone else. You can imagine the internet's reaction. Did Tekashi just confess on camera? One fan tweeted. Reddit detectives pulled out magnifying glasses they didn't even own. Instagram pages flooded with Ariela's photos, captions like, "She was collateral damage." Collateral damage. That phrase became the hashtag. And Tekashi? Overnight, he wasn't just a snitch, a troll, or a meme. He was trending as a suspect. Now, you're probably wondering, was this hospital whisper really that big of a deal? Yes, because in the Tekashi universe, nothing is ever small. Remember, this is the same guy who turned courtroom testimony into a binge-worthy drama. The same guy who wore rainbow wigs to federal trials like it was Fashion Week. If he whispers it should have been him, fans will connect the dots faster than you can say 69. And they did. Fake, leaked FBI files hit Twitter. Screenshots of supposed texts where Tekashi allegedly wrote, "New York not safe until he gone." Blurry photos of Trippie's name scribbled on a police whiteboard. Were they real? Probably not. Did the internet care? Absolutely not. All it takes is a screenshot to spark a conspiracy. Meanwhile, Tekashi's silence only made it worse. No IG rants. No trolling. Just nothing. And that silence spoke louder than any rainbow wig. If Tekashi's brand is built on noise, why was he suddenly mute? Was he hiding, planning, or guilty? By the end of the week, Ariella's name had turned into a rallying cry. Candlelight vigils, global hashtags, fans demanding justice, and hovering over it all, one hospital whisper for words that painted Tekashi not as a clown but as a killer. And let's not forget, this whisper wasn't just caught on tape. Rumors say it was transcribed in a hospital log. Nurses whispered about it. One anonymous orderly even told a blog, "I got chills. It felt like he knew something no one else did." Was that blog credible? Please. It probably had 200 followers and a stock photo logo. But again, this is the internet. Facts are optional. Suspense is mandatory. And here's the shocking truth. This isn't just Tekashi versus Trippie anymore. This is life and death. Betrayal and revenge. A whisper that could haunt hip-hop forever. Because when you open Pandora's box of whispers, you better be ready for the screams that come after. And that's where the scandal doesn't just simmer, it explodes. The whisper wasn't just a hospital footnote, it became a digital wildfire. Suddenly, every corner of the internet was convinced Tekashi had practically confessed. Memes, threads, TikTok breakdowns, it was everywhere. Twitter detectives turned into FBI agents overnight. One viral post read, "Zoom in, enhance the audio,
Slow it down."
He said it. He literally said it. Another fan wrote, "If this was CSI, Tekashi would already be behind bars." The hashtag it should have been him trended globally, mixing grief, outrage, and messy conspiracy theories into one chaotic cocktail. And then came the so-called leaks. First, screenshots allegedly showing a private DM between Tekashi and a shadowy associate. The message, "New York ain't safe till he gone. Handle it." No proof of authenticity. No context. But it didn't matter. Screenshots are gospel in internet court. Fans reposted it thousands of times, swearing it tied him to Ariella's murder. Next, an anonymous insider surfaced on TikTok claiming they worked at the hospital. With a shaky voice and blurred face, they whispered, "I heard him." He leaned in close. He didn't care that people were around. He wanted it known. TikTok loved it. Millions of views. No verification. Who cares? The internet had its smoking gun. Reddit took it even further, turning into a full-blown investigation board. And, you know Reddit, these people were suddenly acting like Sherlock Holmes with Wi-Fi. Grainy images of police whiteboards allegedly showing Trippie circled in red. A so-called FBI memo, with Tekashi's name highlighted next to words like target and revenge. Were these real? Almost definitely not. But if you think that stopped Reddit at 3 a.m., forget it. They were out here connecting dots harder than Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the fans weren't the only ones fanning flames. Blogs, gossip sites, even mainstream outlets dipped their toes in. One tabloid screamed, "Tekashi's whisper sparks murder conspiracy." Another called it, "the 4 words that could end his career." Suddenly, Ariella wasn't just a tragic victim. She was the centerpiece of a global scandal. But here's where things get even messier. Because the scandal wasn't just about Tekashi's words, it was about who benefited from them. Trippie read. Fans began speculating that the whisper wasn't just a slip. It was a message, a warning, a final jab at Trippie, painting him as the reason Ariella was dead. Some even claimed Tekashi staged the whisper, knowing it would go viral and shift blame away from himself. Imagine that. A man weaponizing a hospital visit like it's a PR stunt. But then again, Tekashi's entire career is one long PR stunt. Meanwhile, Trippie stayed unusually quiet. No IG rants. No songs. No subliminals. Just silence. And in the world of rap beef, silence is deafening. Fans filled in the blanks. Was he scared? Guilty? or plotting his own revenge track that would turn Spotify into a battlefield. And then another leak. This time, a grainy 15-second clip allegedly showing Tekashi in the hospital bed, smirking right after the whisper. His rainbow hair messy, eyes darting like he knew exactly what he'd done. Captioned, "This man just told us everything." The clip spread like wildfire. TikTok edits, Twitter GIFs, YouTube breakdowns with red circles and dramatic zoom-ins. Even celebrities couldn't resist. One rapper tweeted, "This whisper feels like a setup. Watch carefully. Somebody's being framed." Another posted on Instagram, "Hospital whispers don't lie. Protect your people." Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just fan-driven. It had industry voices stirring the pot. And the public? They ate it up. Theories stacked on theories. Tekashi ordered the hit, but it landed on Ariella by mistake. Trippie was the real target, and Tekashi knew it. Ariella was silenced because she knew too much. Or the wildest one yet. The whisper was code. A message to his gang affiliates that the mission failed. It didn't matter which theory you believed. They all had one thing in common. Tekashi was at the center, spinning the web. Now pause for a second. You're probably wondering, could 4 words really cause this much chaos? The answer, absolutely yes. Because Tekashi's reputation makes him the perfect villain. This is the same man who testified in federal court, pointing fingers like Oprah giving out cars. You're guilty. You're guilty. Everybody's guilty. He admitted to paying for shootings, organizing robberies, bankrolling gang violence. So when people heard him mutter it should have been him, they didn't think innocent slip. They thought same Tekashi new body count. Meanwhile, Ariella's story gained heartbreaking momentum. Vigils, hashtags, emotional tributes from friends and clubs she worked at. And each tribute made Tekashi look worse. Because the more human Ariella became in the public eye, a mother, a worker, a vibrant part of the nightlife scene, the colder Tekashi's whisper seemed. One viral post read, "She wasn't just Tekashi's friend. She was a mother of 2. She deserved better than to be a pawn in his beef." Another said, "Collateral damage is not just a phrase. It's 2 kids who lost their mom." Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just about whispers, it was about empathy, grief, and injustice. And that's when government rumors started swirling. Some sources claimed prosecutors were quietly reviewing Tekashi's old testimony. Fake documents leaked online, alleging law enforcement was considering charging him with reckless endangerment tied to organized crime. Were those documents real? Please. Half of them were typed in Comic Sans. But the internet didn't care. The narrative was too juicy. And in a court of public opinion, Tekashi was already guilty. Fans demanded action. Lock him up. Protect Trippie. Justice for Ariel. The comments section turned into a courtroom, with TikTok as judge, Twitter as jury, and Instagram as executioner. But here's the shock line nobody's ready for. This wasn't an investigation anymore. This was a circus. Only difference? The clowns were holding guns. And just when you thought it couldn't get darker, hackers claiming to be close to the case teased they had unreleased hospital footage. Supposedly, the full clip showed Tekashi saying more than just 4 words. One post read, "The world has only seen the start. The rest will break everything." Now imagine that. If 4 words cause this much chaos, what happens when the rest leaks? And that's the nightmare waiting around the corner. Because if part 2 is leaks, chaos, and conspiracy theories, part 3 is where consequences crash down like a hammer. Because if 4 words could shake the internet, imagine the storm when the rest of the whisper is revealed. And trust me, the fallout was catastrophic. The so-called full footage didn't just stay in the shadows for long. Within days, a mysterious clip began circulating on encrypted Telegram groups, then leaked onto Twitter and YouTube, re-uploads faster than copyright bots could take them down. In this extended version, Tekashi leans in, smirks, and allegedly mutters something even darker. "It's only starting." Boom. That's it. Those 3 words were enough to send fans into meltdown. Only starting? What does that even mean? Was he warning of more bloodshed? hinting at more targets? Or flexing like the chaos merchant he's always been? Twitter exploded. If this is only starting, who's next? One viral post read. TikTok stitched the clip into endless conspiracy edits. Reddit threads ballooned into thousands of comments debating whether Ariella was just the first domino. Theories multiplied. Tekashi was signaling to gang affiliates that Trippie was still in the crosshairs. Ariella's murder was phase 1 of a larger retaliation cycle. Or the wildest claim. Tekashi staged the entire hospital scene as performance art because, of course, in 2025, even death gets branded. But here's where the consequences started to feel very, very real. Whispers of investigations turned into actual headlines. New York prosecutors, already salty over Tekashi's Snitch and Escape deal in 2019, allegedly began reviewing new evidence tied to ongoing gang activity. Sen even ran a segment with the headline, "Did Tekashi's whisper trigger a murder probe?" Fake but viral court documents circulated online showing his probation officers recommending harsher terms. Screenshots of supposed FBI surveillance logs popped up, claiming Tekashi had been spotted meeting known affiliates despite supervised release. One fabricated file even claimed agents overheard him say, "Collateral damage happens." Real? Probably not. Viral? Absolutely. And when millions of people believe something online, it might as well be true. Meanwhile, the music industry started backing away like he was radioactive waste. Clubs canceled appearances. Collaborators went ghost. Even streaming platforms got shady. Fans swore Spotify quietly pulled his songs from key playlists. YouTube comment sections turned into war zones, fans fighting over whether to cancel the snitch or defend him as still the goat of trolling.
And Trippie?
Still silent, which only made things worse. Because in beef culture, silence isn't peace, it's suspense. Fans begged him to speak up, drop a track, something. But his lack of response was read as fear. Memes of Trippie hiding in bunkers flooded Twitter. One viral TikTok said, "Trippie is laying low like he's in witness protection." And Tekashi? He thrived on the chaos. Even without posting, his name dominated every feed. The whisper became bigger than his music. He was no longer a rapper. He was a headline, a villain, a walking cliffhanger. And here's the human cost. Ariella's family, still grieving, had to watch her death become viral fodder. Her friends posted tributes begging people to remember her as more than a hashtag. One heartbreaking IG post read, "She wasn't collateral damage. She was everything." But the internet moves fast, and empathy quickly mutated into outrage. Candlelight vigils turned into protest chants. Justice for Ariella. Flyers circulated online demanding charges against 6ix9ine. TikTok creators posted emotional rants. If it was your sister, your daughter, your friend, would you still call it beef? And that's when the line between rap beef and real-world tragedy blurred completely. Then came the biggest twist. Hackers dropped a supposed cache of law enforcement audio logs. One recording allegedly caught a voice saying, "Target neutralized. Wrong ID." Let that sink in. If true, it implied Ariella wasn't the target at all, just mistaken identity. The wrong place, wrong time. Fans latched onto it immediately. The bullet was meant for Trippie. Now, was that audio authentic? Almost definitely not. But again, the internet doesn't care. It spread like wildfire, adding a new dimension to the scandal. Not just Tekashi versus Trippie, but collateral victims in a gang chess game. Blogs screamed, "Hospital Whisper was code for botched hit." YouTube commentators dissected every syllable. Conspiracy TikTok declared, "We're living inside a rap mafia movie." And here's the line that had everyone spooked. It's only starting. Because if this was just the start, then what or who came next? By late August, the scandal reached peak hysteria. Fans started speculating about government crackdowns, new indictments, even federal raids. Anonymous posts claimed Tekashi was under 24-hour surveillance. Paparazzi shots of him outside court, probably unrelated, were captioned, "Breaking, snitch back under watch." And the worst part? Every new rumor, Every fake file, every meme only cemented the narrative. Tekashi's whisper had blood on it. This wasn't just beef anymore. This was legend, tragedy, and maybe the beginning of the end. So let's put it bluntly. Ariella's death may have been one life lost, but in the culture, it was the spark that lit a wildfire. Tekashi's whisper, those 4 words, and then the chilling add-on, "It's only starting," transformed him from internet troll into urban legend. A villain bigger than his music, bigger than his beef. And now the world is left with one haunting question. When Tekashi whispered those words, was it guilt? A threat? Or just another twisted performance in his never-ending circus of chaos? Because if this was only the beginning, then the end might be something none of us are ready to see. So here's where I turn it over to you. You've heard the whispers. You've seen the chaos. You've watched a mother's death get turned into the centerpiece of the biggest rap scandal of the year. But the question is, what do you believe? Do you think Tekashi, 6ix9ine's hospital whisper was a confession? Was he sending a message to Trippie, letting the world know Ariella's murder was no accident? Or do you think the internet, as always, ran wild with a story that may have been nothing more than a troll gone too far? Because here's the terrifying truth. Words have power. And when those words come from a man who's already bankrolled shootings, testified against his own crew, and turned betrayal into branding, those words hit different. They become prophecy. They become headlines. And sometimes they become blood. But the story doesn't end here. If the hackers are right, if the full clip is real, then we haven't seen the worst yet. This isn't closure. This is escalation. And if Tekashi's right, that it's only starting, then maybe we're all about to witness something even darker. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Ariella just collateral damage in a beef that should have ended years ago? Or is Tekashi orchestrating something bigger, something we can't even see yet? Make sure you like this video if you want the truth to spread, share it with someone who needs to know what's really happening, and subscribe because this circus isn't packing up anytime soon. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Because if this was just the whisper, imagine the scream.